I know that may not sound like an underrated tag team, but honestly, they never really connected when they were there, and they never really had any memorable runs in the WWF. And I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to say that's probably mostly due to the racial stereotyping of that era. They
Yeah.
were Samoans. They weren't allowed to talk. They had to be villains. They were savages. I mean, they were just never going to have a big run.
There wasn't a face Samoa until Rikishi, right? And he was still
No.
technically a heel for a lot of that.
No, actually, if you discount him murdering his wife, Jimmy Snuka was a huge
Oh
face
yeah.
Samoan back in the day. But he was the only one. That didn't happen. And it honestly didn't happen, like you said,
murdering
until.
the wife thing makes you a heel, though, through and through.
Yeah, that's true.
Ask
And that
Chris
didn't
Benoit.
happen until either the Rock. I think Rock was face before Rikishi. Yeah, Rock was face before Rikishi.
If murdering your wife makes you a heel, then Benoit is a Grand Slam champion heel.
Dark Side of the Ring, folks. New Jack, Benoit. They have a Snuka episode. Hit them all up.
God, yes, and so
Dino
much of it
Bravo
is
is a good
available
episode
to watch
too.
on YouTube, and just find it, watch it.
But these guys were such an amazing. They were so talented. Not only talented in the ring, they were legit wrestlers. They were legit badasses. Their lineage goes on throughout the Samoan heritage, with Rikishi being Afa's son, and meaning the Usos are Afa's grandkids. So, hello, it's there. And I guess you might want to mention that they were inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007. So, quite a run for the wild Samoans there that you never hear about. You never, out of all the teams we've talked about, probably Wild Samoans is the one that nobody's ever heard about, and nobody's ever said, "Watch a Wild Samoans
I've ever
match."
heard of them, actually. I'm kidding.
There you go.
I'm kidding. I haven't seen very many matches.
But really great wrestlers, and honestly, this was the inspiration for this top 10. So I'm glad Pasty and I could work this out, that they ended up being number one. There's tag teams you look at, Brian Kendrick and Paul London, where you're just sitting there and you think, God damn, I remember how awesome they were, and nobody else does.
Yeah, for me it was really tough because I wanted to put Air Boom too, but I'm like, Kendrick and London was probably more so.
I would agree.
Part of me even wanted to toss 3-man band up on there, but
I would disagree.
yeah. I mean, you slash Chuck and Billy, so.
Yeah, well, they kind of slashed themselves. Hello.
No, it was more like stabbing from behind.
All right, New Jack.
Well, that brings us to the end of our top 10 underrated tag teams. Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? Let us know at facebook.com/Beefsticks Podcast or on Twitter at BeefsticksCSB. Let's argue.
Tell us who your underrated tag teams are. There's tag teams that Pasty and I probably don't remember or think about that are dead. In fact, as we said when we were talking about this, we went through the ECW one. It's like, oh yeah, Eliminators. Or shit, they could have easily been on this list. Easily one of the best. For sure.
Yes. I could actually see a part 2 of this top 10 coming up sometime in the future. It'd be easy to do.
Oh, so easy, because there's ones that both of us just took out before we even gave the list to each other. So
yeah, there's
a couple part 2s. I even sent you an idea for another part 2, but yeah, there's a few that it's like we could easily do part 2s of these 2s, 3s, 4s. As long as there's fans and there's wrestlers, by gum, we can do top 10s.
Yes, indeed.
Especially as long as they're not giving us fucking quality product, at least.
Yes.
For us to talk about. Mm-hmm.
And not only as long as there's fans and wrestling and all of that, we can continue to do top 10s. We can continue to bring you all the news each week in our Savage Sentinel.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lot of heavy news for you this week, folks. We took you away from it for a minute, but we're dragging you right back into it.
We're sorry.
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. Oh, boy.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah. Woo. So, President Trump has assembled a team for his economic recovery strategy plan called the Great American Economic Revival Industry Group.
I love it!
The GARIG. The GARIG.
The gay rig. We like the gay rig. I'm a big fan of the gay rig.
Yes. And the gay rig includes several influential figures in sports entertainment, such as New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, Dallas Mavericks owner and TV shark Mark Cuban, UFC president Dana White, and of course WWE's own Vince McMahon. Can I get a round of applause? Oh, boy.
Boy, talk about a who's who of people who have been itching to get back on fucking TV.
Yeah.
These are four names of people who have never been shy of getting their fucking face and name put any fucking where.
Yeah.
Hello.
Man, it's so funny. Dana White 2 weeks ago was getting ready to do his UFC on his own private island out of U.S. jurisdiction. WWE had gone to a pre-tape setting, which was probably better for the product, and then Vince talked to Trump and got it listed as an essential service. More details on that, of course, coming up.
Oh, of course.
Just crazy. And this is like that's Trump's group of best friends in the world right there.
You know, again, I have to lay everything out there. To be honest, first of all, yes, when you say that this group of people are now hired employees of the White House, it sounds just ludicrous.
Yeah.
But when you think of trying to revive the economy, and you talk about people such as Robert Kraft, who owns the New England Patriots and many other venues, by the way.
And has rigged
when you
many
talk
Super
about
Bowl in his favor.
Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks. He's on the TV show Shark. He owns how many different, he knows about making money. Dana White, Vince McMahon. These are all people who actually know how to stimulate nationwide economic growth, because that's literally what their jobs are. That is all their jobs are. That's all these people do, is make money throughout the entire nation. That's their only job.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It sounds so crazy when you say it, and I'll be the first one to mock it, and I'll be the first one to say that there's probably smarter people to do this, and maybe people who actually have better ideas.
President in 2024. Just watch out, folks.
But for sure,
vote for him too.
This isn't a group of people that you could say don't have any understanding in this. This is a group of people that absolutely is fit for this job.
But my argument is this is also a group of people who will put people's health at risk for the dollar for themselves.
But this is not the Great American Health Revival. This is the Great American Economic Revival. That's what. No, legit. Isn't that what you shouldn't have people thinking about the health side of it? That you shouldn't. That would be counterproductive.
Well, where are all your health side rock stars? Then we got Fauci. That's it. I
guess everybody who's. To be honest, everybody who's shut down every fucking business that isn't running right now and is telling people to wear masks. There's 1,000,001 health nuts fucking out there telling you what to do. We need people out here telling us how to actually get back to shit. So I wouldn't expect anybody to have any concern about that. These people shouldn't have concern about the health. Their job is to think about that. Now, if something they're doing hurts the health or is it a endangerment to the people, then yes, I would hope another group would bring that to their attention, and I would hope that they would
Don't you think Vince is itching to sell tickets again?
Well, shouldn't he though?
He should.
I mean, how in the fuck?
Like I said last week, it should be like every 6th seat has a person in it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this has nothing to do with the health of the American people. This has to do with the health of the economy, and these people do understand that. I will say that much. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
But somebody who doesn't know much about the health of people, who's actually involved in the health of people, and this is where we get into the Vince McMahon's. This is where I agree with you, Pacey, that Vince McMahon's caring about people's health is indifferent, because Florida Governor Ron DeSantis made a ruling that WWE is an essential business in the state of Florida and will stay open during shutdowns. How are they essential, you may ask? Well, you're not going to get an answer. But when asked about the claims that the Orange County sheriffs were called to the WWE Performance Center on multiple occasions in the past several weeks, the sheriff's office released a statement saying, quote, "In March and April, our deputies responded to that location several times. Each time, deputies advised the business that they were not in compliance with the executive order and that they would have to close. On April 11th and 13th, there were complaints that the business was filming during the pandemic. But by that time, an April 9th memo from the Florida Division of Emergency Management had already deemed that business essential," end quote. So WWE continued to run television tapings at their facilities in Orlando, with many speculating on how they were able to continue to tape despite the state's stay-at-home ordinance. It was later revealed that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, mentioned above, amended an ordinance that declared WWE as an essential business, citing their, quote, "impact on the local economy," end quote. In a press conference this past Wednesday, the governor, in a press conference this last Wednesday with the governor, the topic of Vince and Linda McMahon's relationship with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, was brought up, and he was asked about that relationship having any bearing on the state's decision to allow McMahon to continue live week-to-week tapings in the Orlando area during the coronavirus pandemic, which, of course, he said, nope.
But we all know that Trump is in the Hall of Fame.
I know.
An undeniable fact.
Nope. Get the fuck out of here with that, you dumbass. So basically, they were running illegally. So WWE was officially, because not all states. Now, Pasty and I live in a state where it's not mandated that you stay at home during X times or that places be closed, but it is recommended. But there are states such as Florida, such as New York, that have larger populations and have larger international travel that actually do have these for the proper reasons. And WWE was actually running their business illegally during that time. But then there was a retroactive act put in place by the governor of Florida that deemed them essential, quote, to the economy, which I can't deny that. I would agree.
The only way I get that, though, is if you're able to sell tickets. How do they draw? The only money WWE draws without fans is money for the company.
No, if they're taping from their...
And they don't pay taxes in Florida, they pay taxes up the coast.
No, they rent from their performance center is at the Full Sail
but
University.
I still have to pay
so they're
my
paying for
rent
Full Sail
during the
University.
shutdown.
Actually, no, you don't. They're not charging rent anymore this time. So no, you don't. But that doesn't matter. You're still stimulating the economy. They tape out a Full Sail
balls so I can be essential.
You go pay what WWE pays Full Sail University, and then you can call yourself essential, Pasty. They're not missing the fucking $210 that you give them every month, okay, buddy? But yeah, I mean, I can see It's not legit. It's not
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been doing it. But yes, you can argue that it